In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. This is, in fact, the first presentation after Iranian Nowruz, or after the beginning of the year 1400 Iranian and Islamic, in fact, year 1400. Happy Nowruz and Happy New Year to everybody, all my Iraqi students. I'm going to, in fact, begin my job this part of the year, okay, in spring. Okay, so I would like to, in fact, you to go to page 11 as you see it here. We want to, in fact, talk about general questions for linguistics. Remember that when we want to work with Chomsky linguistics, we have to, in fact, find what are the important things that we are going to talk about. Well, before beginning the in fact, what we mean by general questions for linguistics, page 11 says something like this. To sum up what has been said so far, UG is a theory of knowledge that is concerned with the internal structure of the human mind. Remember, Chomsky linguistics actually looks at the properties of the structures of the human mind, okay, not human society, okay. It's in fact, it's a kind of theory of, let's say, psychology, علم النفس, okay. It's a kind of theory of علم النفس. Well, and we have things like that. Anyway, so it is like that, and there are two types of, in fact, things that we already talked about before Nowruz, and we are going to continue now. There are two things. One is principles, the other is parameters. What are P and P? You remember you had the discussion in your, in fact, voices that you sent to me correctly. Actually, you used the word principles and parameters in your own language. Okay, I want to, in fact, tell you more about what we mean by principles and parameters. What is a principle? Principle is something that all languages have. All languages have the structures that are all the same across all languages. Okay, the structures, properties, principles. Okay, these are all the same across languages. It could be Arabic, it could be English, it could be French, it could be Farsi, or it could be a remote island where in that island there is, in fact, a group of people with their own language. Okay, so when we say Chomsky talks about language, it talks about all languages in terms of principles. But languages are different in terms of parameters. What are parameters? Parameters are points of variation. One language is different from another language. One language is different from another language. Let me give you one example of variation across languages. Well, for example, in English, Farsi, Arabic, etc., languages are different from one another in terms of the order of adjectives. All languages have adjectives and nouns, but one language has got the adjective before the noun, another language has got an adjective after the noun. Let us consider Farsi, English, and Arabic here. Okay? In English, suppose they say something like this, an adjective green and the noun door. In English, we say the green door. The green door. Where is the adjective? Green appears before the noun. The word green appears before the noun. Is it the same in Arabic? Is it the same in Farsi? We say no. A language might be different from another language in terms of what we say in terms of adjectives and nouns. So, while in English we say, let's say something like an adjective followed by a noun, like green door, in Arabic we have something else. We say بوابة الخضراء. بوابة الخضراء. Okay? So, بوابة as an adjective, as a noun, appears first and the adjective appears after that. The same holds true in Farsi. In Farsi we say dar sabz. Dar sabz. Dar means door and sabz means khala'a. Okay? So dar sabz means the door which is green, the green door. So first we have the noun in Arabic and Farsi, and then we have an adjective. So this is an example of principles or parameters. Yes, parameters. So when a child in fact wants to acquire a language, he or she at the age of 1 or 2 years old, 2 years old, 1 year old, has to acquire to say the green door in English. بوابة الخضراء in Arabic. And that is sabs in Farsi. Okay, these are variations across languages. So points of variations are in fact taken care of in principles and in the part parameters. Okay, but all languages have nouns. All languages have, let's say, adjectives. So these are the principles of all languages. Okay, well, back to the questions for linguists. Well, we are going to see what are the questions for linguists. Well, if you actually go down this page, you see there is the first question appearing there. What constitutes as knowledge of language? Chomsky wants to understand what we mean by knowledge of language. This is number one. Okay? Number one question. For example, in the knowledge of language, we say on page 11 that sentence 11 on page 11 is sound the cat that is black. We say this is the good sentence. I have just ticked it just now for you to see it. Sentence 11 is a good sentence in English. But unlike sentence 12 on the same page, is the cat that black? Well, this is not a good sentence in English. So I have just crossed out it for you. Okay? Is the cat black? Not a good sentence in English. So when we say what constitutes as knowledge of language, your knowledge of language and native speakers of English knowledge of language says that a sentence like 11 is a good sentence. But a string like 12 is not a sentence of English. Okay? Well, question 2 appears 3 lines to the bottom. Okay? How is such knowledge is acquired? How is it the case that children actually develop it? Okay? You don't have the page. I have to, in fact, go to my book, and in the next page there are 2 other questions. How such knowledge is put into use. This is question 3. How is it put to use? How do you actually say your Arabic? How do you understand with the help of your Arabic when they say something in Arabic? Do you understand it? So you put to use it through producing or hearing, speaking or listening. Okay, so these are the two types of, in fact, things that you do. And question 4 is a big question. What are the physical mechanisms that serve as the material basis for this system of knowledge and for the use of this knowledge? This is the question 4. If you want to actually have a look at these questions, you have to, in fact, find all these 4 questions on the next page, on the top of page 13. On the box there, you have something like this. There's a box on top of the page, and the box says Chomsky's questions for linguistics, and there are number 1, 2, 3, and 4 for you on that page. Just go and review that page. Thank you very much. This is the end of my first presentation, the first part of my presentation.